Week 28 in the Premier League, and surely the title is done and dusted. Or are there still some fans who believe? Welcome to the predictions. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to week 28 in the Premier League. Yes, the title is done and dusted, but the race for the top 4 is pretty tight. Anyone really in the top 10 could make a claim to a Champions League position. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new here. And there are going to be some real tight games this weekend on people who could overtake each other in the league. So let's jump into this one and kick it off with the first game of the weekend. World famous City Ground will kick off this weekend as Nottingham Forest will host Manchester City. This is 3rd versus 4th in the league. This is a chance for Man City to get themselves ahead of Forest, or Forest to put a little bit of a gap between them and Man City. Man City and Forest both progressed through in the FA Cup, Forest winning on penalties against Ipswich, and Man City coming from behind against Plymouth to get themselves through to those quarterfinals. So these two teams can focus on the league now. Both teams are in the same competitions this season, obviously the FA Cup, both of them still in it, and fighting for those Champions League spots. Who's going to win this one? Not Forest. I'm going Forest 0, Man City 2. I just don't feel a Forest win here. I can see Man City overtaking. In fact, there's a scenario where Forest will be 5th come the end of this game weekend. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Anfield has the second game of the weekend as Liverpool will host Southampton. And Slot being suspended, does that mean there's any hope whatsoever for Southampton? Southampton fans, I've backed you all season. You're letting me down now. You've got to overtake Derby's record, man. You're 2 points off it. I thought once you got your win against Ipswich a couple of weeks ago, you were going to coast across the line. But you still need to get another win. Do it at Anfield. That would be perfect. I can't see it, though. I can't see it. I'm going to go Liverpool 4, Southampton 0. Southampton just look like they've waved the white flag. They're ready for the championship. I tried, Saint fans. I'm sorry. Selhurst Park has the next game as Crystal Palace will host Ipswich, and Crystal Palace are through to the FA Cup. But after Mateta suffered that horrific kick from Millwall, by the way, what a dirty club Millwall are. We had them in a pre-season and it wasn't too dissimilar. But he will be out for this game and it'll be a huge miss, especially with the form he's in. Ipswich, on the other hand, as we mentioned, just went out on penalties to Forest in the FA Cup. But they need to focus on this league. They did rest players for that game, so should be fighting fit for this one. I just can't see it. I think this table's pretty much done at the bottom. The 3 that came up look like they're going down. I'm going to go Crystal Palace 2, Ipswich 0. I hope I don't mind Palace, but I would like to see a bit of a fight in that relegation battle. These teams that come up need to show the league that the gap isn't as big as it should be. What do you guys think on this one? Amex Stadium on the south coast will see Brighton taking on Fulham, and suddenly both these two teams are in for a shout for European football, or maybe even Champions League football. Brighton, with a Danny Welbeck goal, got them over the line against Newcastle, and Fulham were able to win on penalties against Manchester United to see them through into the next round. I just think this is going to be an even game. I just think because they've got the home advantage and the form Brighton are in ever since Forest slapped them awake with a 7-0 victory, may see them over this line. I'm going to go Brighton 2, Fulham 1. But I think this game could go either way or end up in a draw. There you go. Let's move on. The B-Tech Stadium will see Brentford hosting Aston Villa, and this one is 10th versus 11th in the table with only 4 points separating the two of them. Brentford need a win here to close the gap on Villa. However, Villa have done well in the Champions League, beating Brugge midweek, will be coming into this game surely with a bit of confidence. But their record after a Champions League game this season has been horrific. They've lost every single one, bar one. But Brentford are just a pointless club, and I can't see them beating Villa. I'd have to look them up to know where they are in the table, because I have no interest in that pointless club. I'm going to go Villa here. I'm going to go Brentford 1, Villa 3. Villa, show some football heritage. Make sure you beat that silly team with their silly Lego stadium. Molineux in the West Midlands will see Wolves taking on Everton, and normally I would look at this game and think Wolves must. They have a little bit of a gap in the relegation fight right now, and they need, I think, another maybe 1 or 2 wins just to make sure they are safe, because they're only on 22 points, and I know, as crazy as that sounds, I don't think it'll take much more to keep them up, because they are 5 points clear of Ipswich. With this game, with no Cunha because of his red card in the FA Cup, do Wolves have anyone else that can step up? Because it's felt like a one-man mission this season as Cunha has tried to keep them up. And with Moyes doing well with his return at Everton, yes, he drew his last 2 games in the league, but so far so good. Now they are 10 points clear of Wolves in the position above them, but I just don't think Everton are in any trouble right now. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go Wolves 1, Everton 1. I think both teams would take a point right now and move on. Maybe Wolves need the points more, but no Cunha, no party for me. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium will see Tottenham hosting Bournemouth. And by the way, you're not allowed to call Tottenham anymore, so I'll be referring to them as Tottenham. Anyway, Tottenham just lost to Manchester City. They were on a bit of a win streak, 3 in a row, but that's come crashing down. However, Bournemouth have lost their last 2 in the league, even though they went through in the FA Cup, beating a team they lost to in the league just a couple of weeks before. I feel like Bournemouth are about to drop like a stone, so I am guaranteeing that Spurs win this game. Spurs don't let me down. I'm going Tottenham 2, Bournemouth 0. I can see Bournemouth not even finishing in Europe this season. Scummy team. Stamford Bridge will see the most guaranteed win as Chelsea take on Leicester next. I don't even think there's anything that needs to be said. Van Nistelrooy's Leicester have yet to score a goal in 2025. The only team they've beaten is Tottenham, which kind of tells you all you need to know. And how he's still in the job after some serious L's in a row is hilarious. I got nothing against Leicester, but it's quite funny to see this Manchester United reject think he's an actual manager. Chelsea, on the other hand, have just had their free win against Southampton, now about to take their free win against Leicester, and this could potentially move them up to 3rd in the league. And that's their 2 free wins done, as their running gets a bit harder after that. Hence why I think Forest could be down to 5th by the end of this weekend. So I'm going to go Chelsea 3, Leicester 0. Van Nistelrooy could get sacked after this. And Maresca against his old club, you never know, could be more. Old Trafford will see the next game of the weekend as Manchester United will host Arsenal. And Arsenal fans now think they're going to win the Champions League after they tonked PSV by 7-1. Who needs a striker? Anti-Arteta and his striker Antinous are now all in sync, because Arsenal are going to go and win the Champions League without an attacking lineup. if you believe some of the Arsenal fans. Manchester United, on the other hand, crashed out of the FA Cup after Xerxes missed a penalty, and so did Lindelof, and goodbye, out they go. Fulham exerted their revenge on them for the whole Mitrovic sending off a couple of years ago. But Manchester United look woeful. Their manager's coming out today and says he doesn't even want to win the Europa League. He's just happy with winning the Premier League in a couple of years' time, even though he doesn't think they're going to do that either. I don't get that manager at all. I'm going to go Manchester United 0, Arsenal 2. I don't know who the two goal scorers will be for Arsenal. Maybe Højlund will score a goal for them because he ain't getting nothing down the other end. What do you guys think? The London Stadium will see the final game of the weekend as West Ham will host Newcastle United on Monday night. West Ham sitting 15th, comfortable from relegation, probably on the beach right now. And probably Bowen really only interested in trying to get himself an England call-up. The rest of them are pretty much relaxed. Newcastle, on the other hand, have a date with destiny again in the final of the Carabao Cup to take on Liverpool. But with Gordon punching a player in the face and getting himself suspended, it's all kicking off up in the Toon. I don't know. I think Newcastle will have one eye on the final. If West Ham really want this win, I think they could go and get it, but I think they're too beached for it. So I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm going to say West Ham 1, Newcastle 1. Newcastle do still need to focus though. If they want to get a Champions League position, they've got to go to places like West Ham and win. But I can see a draw. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And that's your games for this weekend. As always, get your predictions in the comments below. Looking forward to reading them. And let me know how you think your team is going to fare up. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the Footy Network. Good luck to your teams this weekend. And we'll see you on the next video. Enjoy the week.